Right, so my parents are in the Uber now, they're just about to arrive. I'm very excited because I haven't actually seen them since January, which is when I moved to London. Right, so I'm gonna go downstairs and welcome them to England. There they are. 哎，我给姐姐记录呢，来抱一下。
哎呀，我的宝贝儿哦，天！
哎呀，好长没见，好长没见。
好想你。
一路顺利吗？ Okay, today we'll be building a light for my YouTube studio and we will be answering some questions on Instagram. But first, I need to sort out my apartment because I'm not happy with the state of it and my parents definitely are not impressed. So let's try and tidy this shit tip of an excuse of a living room up and then we'll get around to the actual video. Okay, quick update. It would actually be an understatement to say that I can't be asked to do this. This is awful. I hate tidying up. I wish I didn't have to do this, but thankfully I won't have to move again for the foreseeable future because this shit is not fun at all. As much as I bitch about tidying it up and like moaning about it and stuff, it's actually been quite a wholesome activity because it's been a bit of a trip down memory lane and I'm finding stuff like this in my storage that I've been holding on to for years without even knowing. This was from, I think maybe first or second year at university when I finished my exams. My friends drew this for me, they came and congratulated me, and as is tradition at Cambridge, and I think Oxford as well, there's this thing called spraying. So when you finish your exams, you get sprayed, which basically means they get the cheapest bottle of champagne from the local Sainsbury's and mess you up. They made sure to get me wet first with the champagne and then throw flour at me so that it sticks more and fucks up your day even more. They also wrapped my entire room in cling film. I don't know if I have any photos of that, but if I do, I'll put it up on screen. Yeah, let's continue. I'm about halfway through. There's still a couple of boxes left. Stay strong, Jimmy. We've got this. Okay, we made some good progress. The living room's looking much better than it did at the start of the day already. Now, let's build the light. So I watched Daniel Schiffer's video where he uses a cake pan and an LED light strip together with a diffusion sheet to make this DIY, budget-friendly studio light for video making. I want to have a metal cake pan because the reflective surface of it will allow the light to sort of bounce off the inner surfaces a bit. Then I've got a light strip. For this you need to make sure it's a daylight one because those are the brightest. And then lastly you want a diffusion sheet. I also got this clamp from Small Rig to maybe clamp the light to a light stand at some point, but I want to see if the light works first before committing to a light stand. Lastly, I also have this rubber band just to attach the diffusion sheet to the cake pan. Okay, so to build this light, you start off by removing the adhesive strip from the LED lights and then you attach it to the inside of the cake pan and then you go round in circles. Don't worry about making the lights perfectly parallel because the resulting gaps actually help the light to bounce off the reflective cake pan walls. We initially just used one diffusion sheet, but then we realized that the LEDs were still shining through the sheet. So we added another layer to soften the light a bit. Okay, this is the view for me right now. Basically, you've got the light there against the wall at a 45-degree angle between me and the camera. I'm using these boxes just to prop it up. Do you know what? If I'm just going to use it for this setup, I might not even get a light stand. I'll have a think about it. Now I'm going to turn this light off, plug that light in, turn on the neon sign, and pray that it looks halfway decent. Okay, right, I had a look at the footage. I think it's definitely a step up from what I had in previous videos with, literally just using the room light. I think it's definitely got room for improvement. I was never expecting this YouTube studio build to be finished in one evening, but I'm quite pleased with the progress. I think going forward, I might want to add a couple of accent lights. I'm not sure if that's the right name for it. Basically just add a light with maybe a color gel over it, just so the background is a little more interesting. The problem is that when you actually don't have the cake pan light on, the wall does have a nice blue color to it and the background looks really nice. But once you turn it on, because the cake pan light is so much more powerful than the neon light, it washes out any of the blue light that we had on the wall. Overall, I'm very happy with the build because it was only 40 something pounds. I think it was between 40 and 50 quid. But considering how expensive the professional like aperture and Godox lights are, given that I spent a fraction of the price, I'm fairly happy. As you may or may not know, I'll actually be graduating from university tomorrow. I technically graduated as of June last year, but because of the whole COVID madness, I obviously wasn't able to do the ceremony in person. But because graduation is on, I obviously haven't been able to really go out and shoot that much, and my parents were here as well. So instead, I'll be doing a bit of a Q&A. I put my story up on Instagram earlier today and just got some questions. And today I'll go through some of these and answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, so a couple of people didn't actually have a question, but they still replied to my story just to say congratulations on graduating. So thank you if you were one of these people. Okay, so Dan Shutter Moments has asked, what's the one thing that surprised you most about photography since you've taken it up? Obviously, I can't speak for the whole world, but specifically for the London photography scene, I was quite surprised about how open and collaborative the people were. I've only really been doing this whole London street photography thing for maybe 4 months now. I started back in April, and everyone I've met since then has been super friendly and open, and especially towards the start, you know, sometimes I would message photographers and just say, oh, I love your shots, mate. Would love to shoot sometime maybe. And then most of the time people are super friendly and they're just like, yeah, when do you want to go out and shoot? And then you go out, you walk around the city, get some cool shots and have a great time. I've actually made a lot of decent friends that I enjoy hanging out with just through the photography thing. So for that reason, I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's maybe moving to a new city and just trying to make some new friends as well. Okay, so Jambi has asked, what's your dream photography or videography job as well as your dream gear? Okay, I'll start with gear. The thing is, I am actually quite happy with what I've got at the moment, which is the Sony a6500 with an assortment of lenses. I've got the Sigma 16mm, I've got the Sigma 56, which I'll do a video on in the future, and then the Tamron 17-70 zoom lens. The reason why I'm a big fan of this setup is just how portable it is. The reason why I initially picked the Sony a6500 over other APS-C equivalents is that it has IBIS, which is the in-body image stabilization. I already knew that I eventually wanted to take videos, and if you don't have lens or in-body stabilization, your footage is going to be fucked. Like it's going to be way too shaky. I've tried it before. You know, if you're just doing handheld video especially, if you don't have any sort of stabilization, it's really hard to get usable footage out of it. The other reason why I like the Sony APS-C range in general is just how small and compact it is. Comparing Sony APS-C cameras to their full-frame equivalents like the Sony a7 III or the Sony a7S III, which is like the king of videos. Both the body and the lenses are, firstly, way bigger than their APS-C equivalents, and secondly, way more expensive. Now, my backpack isn't that big, and neither is my wallet, which is why I'm very happy with the setup that I have now. Obviously, if I had all the money in the world and didn't mind, you know, having a slightly bulkier setup, I think I would probably quite enjoy having a Sony a7 III, just because it's just amazing for video, and I've seen what my friend Jacob is able to do with that kind of gear. But yeah, gear doesn't matter, so don't worry about it. Jan asks, meetups? Question mark. I don't know, maybe, one day. I don't think I'm big enough yet. I don't think the size of my YouTube channel warrants a meetup. There'll be like 2 people showing up at the moment, surely. Fingers crossed that it's soon. Jumper asks, how does it feel to graduate? I don't know, mate. Haven't done it yet, but I am very excited for tomorrow. I can say that much at least. It still feels quite surreal that I'm supposed to be an actual adult now with, you know, responsibilities, paying rent and a full-time job and whatnot. It definitely takes some getting used to, and I'm definitely not used to it yet. I definitely still feel like a child on the inside, just trying to figure things out and not really knowing what I'm doing, but enjoying life so far and excited for the next chapter. Okay, that wraps up the video. We actually have to get up really early tomorrow to catch a train to Cambridge. We'll wrap the video up here. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and a comment below, as usual. Feel free to check out my Instagram and drop me a follow if you like. That way you can DM me anytime, and you know, I'll always try to get around answering to any questions that you might have. I'm really excited for this graduation thing tomorrow. I can't stop thinking about it. I'll obviously take my camera with me and I'll try and vlog the whole thing. I'm also asking Jack and Sun for some help filming. So hopefully it'll be a banger video. I'll see you in the next one.